Hey gang, welcome to week 2 of this course. My name is TG Sido and today we're going to focus on variables. Okay, so what did we do in week 1? We did course goals, setup, built-in functions, input, print. We also did a very short introduction into variables. Okay, what are we doing today? We're going to focus on what exactly is a variable, variable assignment, variable types, variable naming, and finally putting all of that together to do mathematical operators, comparison operators, string concatenation, and the int and stir functions. Cool. So now getting right into it, variables. Remember that a variable is essentially a box to store information, okay? And variable names are going to be associated with values. So as we see over here on the screen, we have the age variable with 24 inside, first name variable with TG inside, and last name variable with Sido inside. Yes, I'm TG Sido. Cool. All right, so now for variable assignment, we actually use the equal sign to assign a value to a variable. So basically storing something in the box. And remember that the equal sign in math is not the same as the equal sign in code. And here's a little example. First name equal to TG. So we're basically storing this TG inside of the box for first name. Awesome. So now for a very basic variable example, we're going to break this down line by line. So over here we say num1 is equal to 3. So we're creating the num1 variable and putting 3 inside of the box for num1, as we see over here. And now over here for num2, we actually have num2 is equal to 7. Same thing, we're creating the num2 variable and putting 7 inside of its box. And now over here for num3, we have is equal to num1 plus num2. So take whatever's in num1, which is 3, whatever is in num2, which is 7, add those together, that's 10, and put that inside of the box for num3. And now over here for num1, we're saying num1 is equal to num2 plus 75. So what's in num2? 7. So 7 plus 75, that's 82, and we're actually going to put that into the box for num1. Note that we already had 3 in the box before, but now we're putting in 82, so we're updating the value. Okay. So now for num4, we're just going to say it's going to be equal to whatever is in num3. So we're creating a new variable num4 and going to store whatever is in num3. So that's 10. Let's put 10 inside of its box. Okay. So now for variable types, we have several. Int, it's a counting number, it's an integer. So here are some examples. Age is equal to 18. Num years is equal to 20. Count is equal to -2. And numpigs is equal to 20,600. And now we're here for float. Remember, I guess not remember, but float is a decimal number, right? And so here are some examples. Height in inches is 74.5, temperature is equal to -2.2, and student GPA is equal to 2.79, so anything with a decimal, right? So over here, Boolean. This can either be true or false. And here are some examples. This is one of the simplest variable types. I'm tired is equal to false, right? I love Avatar: The Last Airbender is equal to true. And then over here, 0 bigger than 4 is equal to 0 greater than 4. Okay? So over here, you're probably wondering, this isn't true or false. Actually, this expression can evaluate to true or false. What do you think this evaluates to? Put it in the comments and let me know, is this going to be true or false? Okay, so now over here for string. A string is a sequence of 1 or more text characters, and it can be surrounded in single, double, or triple quotes. Here are some examples. Name is equal to TG, name expanded, Theodore Gerald. I'm not Theodore Gerald, even though people ask me that. Okay, exclamation character has the single character exclamation point. And now finally over here, these first 3 seem super chill, right? But over here, school name is equal to input. Which school do you attend? What's going on here? Okay, so if we remember from last week, input actually helped you take in typed user input. And remember that typed user input is text. So that actually matches up with what a string is, right? A string is just text. So you can actually store whatever you get back from input inside of the school name variable, which is a string variable. Okay, so now for variable naming. How to name variables. Remember that variable names must start with underscore or a letter and can only be comprised of numbers, underscores, or letters. And the typing convention, there are several. we're going to focus on snake case, since snake case is super common with Python. We're working with Python. And so we want to have words separated with underscores. So we have I'm underscore tired, and then num underscore books underscore in underscore store. Camel case is a little bit different and is used in a lot of other languages. And basically the way that it works, the first word, the first letter will be lowercase, but all subsequent words, the first letter will actually be uppercase. So we have I'm and then uppercase T for tired, right? Num, uppercase B, books, uppercase I, in, uppercase S, store. And note that these variable names should all be descriptive and informative. Here's a bad example, or I should say a way you definitely do not want to do this. So over here, we're saying input, enter your first name, and we have X. And then we have X1 is equal to input, enter your last name. What is X? What is X1, right? And then we print out that information. Thanks, your name is X plus space X1, right? Here's a better way of doing it. Since we're asking them for their first name, why not actually use a first name variable? And we're asking them for their last name, let's use a last name variable and then print out that same information. Note that these two are actually functionally equivalent, but this is a lot better, right? You know what first name is doing, you know what last name is doing. What is X? What is X1? So in general, there are several reasons to do this. But particularly if people are going to work with your code, you want to use first name, last name, very, very descriptive variables that people can work with and can understand. And also for yourself, if you're going back to old code from 3 months ago, are you going to know what's going on with X or X1? Probably not. Okay? So now actually doing something interesting with variables. So for mathematical operators, these apply to numbers, ints, floats, etc. We have plus, addition, minus, subtraction, slash, division, star, multiplication, double slash, floor division, which we're going to discuss more, and the percentage sign, which is for mod. This is actually the remainder, and we're also going to discuss that. Okay, so over here, num1 is equal to 7, num2 is equal to 2, and we're saying over here sum is equal to num1 plus num2. So take whatever's in num1, which is 7, plus whatever's in num2, which is 2, that's 9. And we're going to put that into the sum variable, and we see that in the box over here. And similarly, for the difference is equal to num1 minus num2. Num1, remember, is 7, and num2 is 2, so 7 minus 2 is 5. Let's go ahead and put that into the difference variable, and we see that in the box over here. Okay. Similarly, over here, quotient is equal to num1 divided by num2. So we're doing 7 divided by 2. That's 3.5, and we put that in its corresponding box. And now over here for multiplication, we have product is equal to num1 times num2. So 7 times 2, that's 14. Go ahead and put that in the box. I know this seems super easy. We'll get to harder stuff. Okay. So now over here, floor is equal to num1 double slash num2. So remember, this is going to be 7 double slash 2. So remember that floor division is actually akin to regular division. However, it returns the largest possible integer. So note that 7 divided by 2 is 3.5, but the largest possible integer that we have over here is actually 3. And so floor division always goes to the decimal point and the right and takes that all off. It truncates it and only selects the 3 or whatever integer is here. Okay? And so now we store that 3 into the box for floor, and now let's keep moving. Okay, so now for mod, which is the percentage sign, how does this work? It's actually the remainder operator. So num1 is 7, mod num2, which is 2, and so we're going to do 7 divided by 2 and get the remainder out of this. So how many times does 2 actually go into 7? That's 3 times, right? 2 times 3 is 6. And so we have 7 minus 6, that's 1. So 1 is our remainder, and that's the result that we're actually going to store in this remainder variable. Cool. So now for more lecture examples. We want to hit this home, so let's get right into it. Okay, so for more floor division examples, num1 is equal to 18, num2 is equal to 4. Let's print out that information. And now we're going to compare floor and quotient. So we have num1 double slash num2. Quotient is equal to num1 single slash num2. And so what we see over here is the quotient is 4.5, but remember floor is just going to select the largest integer and get rid of everything from the decimal point to the right, take that all off. So it's only going to have 4, and which is why we see the floor actually has 4. Bit of a tongue twister. And then we have over here num3 is equal to 6, num4 is equal to 7. Let's print that information out. And then let's go over here into floor is equal to num3 double slash num4. And so what we see over here for quotient is num3 single slash num4. We print out that information. And we see over here for the quotient that we have 0.85, right? 6 divided by 7, that makes sense. But over here, the floor is 0. How did that work again? So over here, it's like regular division, but we're only going to select, right, to the left. Everything from the decimal point and the right, we take that off, we truncate it. So we're only going to select that 0 and store that in the floor variable. Okay, so now for some more mod examples. Remember, we're trying to get the remainder here. So we have num1 is equal to 18. Num2 is equal to 4. We print out that information, and we're going to say over here, remainder is equal to num1 mod num2. So this is 18 mod 4. And so we're saying, let's do 18 divided by 4 and get the remainder. So think about that. 4 times 4 is 16, right? So the remainder there is 2. So 2 is going to be what we store in remainder. And now over here for num3 is equal to 6 and num4 is equal to 7, we're going to print that information out and go over here to remainder. So 6 mod num4, which is 7. So 6 divided by 7, what's the remainder there? We see over here it says remainder is 6. How did that happen? 6 divided by 7, the remainder is 6? Okay, let's go a little bit deeper. So over here, we see that when we do 6 divided by 7, how many times does 7 actually go into 6? It's actually 0 times, right? So we do 7 times 0, that's 0. So 6 minus 0 is 6, right? So our remainder here is actually 6. And so that's why we actually store this 6 in this remainder variable. Comparison operators. These apply to numbers, ints, floats, etc. and more. We'll talk about them more in future lectures. Let's get into them. So, equal equal, that's the equality check. Is A actually equal to B? Exclamation equal, that's not equal. Is A not equal to B? Then we have the less than. Is A less than B? And then less than equal to. Is A less than or equal to B? Then we have the greater than. Is A greater than B? And then greater than equal to. Is A greater than or equal to B? Cool. So back to the lecture examples. Over here we have num1 is equal to 3 and num2 is equal to 7. Num1 is equal to num2. Is num1 equal num2? Is 3 equal to 7? Nope, right? So that's going to be false. And then over here we have num1 is not equal to num2. Is 3 not equal to 7? That's actually correct, right? 3 is not equal to 7. So that's going to be true as we see over here. And now finally we have num1 is less than num2. Is 3 less than 7? Yes, 3 is less than 7. Okay, so that's going to be true over here. Now we have num1 is greater than num2. Is 3 greater than 7? Nope, 3 is not greater than 7. Okay, so this is going to be false. Now back to the lecture examples. Over here, we're going to discuss string concatenation. So what exactly happens when you use plus with a string? If you remember from last week, I talked about the dressing, right? So we had text in red in quotes, plus a variable, plus some other text in quotes. What is that plus really doing? That's called string concatenation. So whenever you use plus with strings, it actually produces a concatenated string. And so here's an example. The string ABC plus the string DEF actually gives you ABCDEF, right? And so now a simple example. So we're gonna create 3 string variables, S1, S2, S3, right? S1 is ABC, S2 is DEF, and S3 is WOW. So we create those variables and we store the corresponding strings inside of their boxes. And now over here for S4, we see that S4 is going to be a new string variable, and it's going to be equal to S1 plus S2. So what's in S1? We have the string of ABC, and what's in S2? We have DEF. So now we're going to get ABCDEF and put that into S4, right? as we see over here. And now for S5, we have S2 plus S3. What's in S2? DEF? What's in S3? Wow. So now we're going to have def wow, putting those together, and put that into S5. So we have def wow in S5. Now over here for S6, we have S4 plus S1. What's in S4? We have ABC, DEF, okay? And now what's in S1? We have ABC. So now we're gonna do ABC, DEF, ABC, right? And we're gonna put all of that into where? S6. Cool. So now over here for useful functions, int and stir. The int function, it's a Python built-in function that actually converts a number to its integer format or a string to its integer format. And note that the string must actually be written as an integer, right? So we have the string with the 2 inside or the string with 438, right? It must be an integer. And so here's some code and here's some output to really hit this home. So num1 is equal to int of the string of 876. And num2 is equal to int of the string of -23. And finally, num3 is equal to int of this number, this decimal number 3.14. So we expect num1 to have 876 in here, right? Num2 to have -23. And over here for this particular, call to int, we have 3.14. This is actually going to truncate, take from the decimal place to the right, take that all off, and only have 3 inside of num3. Remember that it's trying to convert it to its numerical integer format, right? 3.14, even though it's a number, is not an integer. So we're only going to get the integer 3. Cool. And so we actually see that printed out over here for num1, num2, and num3. So when does using int actually go wrong? So over here we see a call to int. We say int of the string of 3.14. Do you guys remember we said that anytime you actually give int a string, it must actually have an integer inside. It can't be a decimal number inside. And so we see the error is invalid literal for int with base 10 in the string of 3.14. Here's another error. Int of the string hello, right? So over here, hello is not even a number, right? There's no number here. This is literally just some text. And so we're going to get another error, right? Invalid literal for int with base 10, string of hello. So remember over here for this particular example, this caused an error. We were probably wondering, why didn't this cause an error? So remember that this is in numerical form. This is not in string form, but this is actually in string form with the quotes. So just keep that in mind. Now for the stir function. So stir is actually a Python built-in function that converts any object to its string representation. So anytime you do stir of a number, you're just going to get back that number in quotes. And we see that over here with S1. We say stir of 78 is just going to give us back the string with 78 inside. And then S2 is equal to stir of 3.14. We're also going to get back a string with 3.14 inside. And the funny thing is, anytime you do stir of a string, you're just going to get back the string again. So as we see over here, S3 is equal to stir of the string hello. We're just going to get back hello again. And so when we print out S1, S2, and S3, here's the output over here. Note there are no quotes, right? Didn't we always say that, right, a string has quotes? Whenever you actually print something out, if you don't specify additional dressing, you won't see those quotes when it comes to strings. Alrighty guys, we're all done for the day. This is a lot of content, so I'm glad you guys were able to stick through it. We learned a lot of stuff. And in our next video, we're actually going to be focused on 3 short coding tasks to put all this stuff together. I'm super excited. If you're getting value out of this series, please go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of the content coming out of this channel. See you guys soon.